How's it going, everybody? Nerds Rising here, and welcome back to the Nerd Cave. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the newly released Shadow Gengar in action in the Halloween Cup. And for those of you guys who didn't know, Gengar was already one of the glassiest Pokemon in the game, and now that it has a Shadow form, I truly have no idea what we're about to witness, folks. I'm imagining if you just look at this thing the wrong way, it's probably going to faint, but we will have to see, because NeronJohn301 was kind enough to send me in these battles last night at like 3 a.m., and of course, I was on my 12-hour shift, so I was awake. I work night shift, and I, normally like to go to bed when I get home, but I was thinking I had just got to feature this footage, guys. I just have got to see what Shadow Gengar is made of here in the Halloween Cup, so that's what we're going to do. And to top things off, the Gengar is also running double nuke. It's running Shadow Ball and Focus Blast, so there's only going to be booms in this video. Hopefully, I actually don't know. I haven't watched any of the footage, but we're going to get right into it here. And shout out to this trainer. And by the way, he also mentioned to me that this is a brand new, newly created account. He changed his username or something and just created a new account. So these battles are going to be in the lower elo range. But I have shoutcasted this player before, so if I remember correctly, he's pretty decent at the game. So let's get into the first battle here. We have Drapion on the lead into the Azu here. Now, the Azu obviously has no idea that he's not running Sludge Bomb here, so correctly overfarms past the Sludge Bomb there. Throws on nice timing as well, and does actually grab a shield from the Azu. So very nice. Switches into the Drifloon here, tanks the Ice Beam, and doesn't look like he's going to bait here, going to go straight for the Shadow Ball. I'm imagining the Azu's probably not going to give up both shields so early, and they actually do. They give up both shields, and they throw their Ice Beam right away. And now, guys, the Azu has no shield. The opponent has no shields remaining whatsoever, and Shadow Gengar has 2 shields. Oh my gosh. Are we about to see Shadow Gengar 1v3 a team already in the first battle? I sure hope we are. The Shadow Ball easily one-shots, and what's going to be in the back? Oh my gosh, the Trevenant, guys! Did you see that Shadow Claw damage? 2 Shadow Claws did like a third of the Gengar's health. Oh my gosh. I think that the Trevenant would have just straight up farmed him down before he even made a move. And fortunately, the Drapion does come back in, and there's an Umbreon in the back. So unfortunately, it does not look like Gengar's actually going to be able to get to sweep this because the Shadow Claws, oh my gosh. I almost want to rewind, but I'm not going to rewind yet, guys, because I want to go to bed. I'm exhausted, but oh my gosh. I'm sure we're going to see some more of that, but that was absolutely insane. Oh, 2 Shadow Claws out there looking like a charge move, and yeah, he easily has this game in the bag. And can he even make a move before he gets Snarl farmed down? Just barely makes the Shadow Ball. This is resisted. Is this going to KO? Probably not, but oh my gosh, that did so much damage, and it's a CMP tie, and this is just a game. This is just game, set, and match. He's actually probably even going to build 2 shield flex. No, 1 shield flex on the opponent. I guess he did use a shield. And that's a GG. And by the way, I hope you don't hear that in the background. My wife decided to run the washing machine while I'm trying to make a video, and there's just like obnoxiously loud water draining in the background right now. So hopefully you can't hear that super clearly. But either way, we're getting into battle number 2 here. And oh my gosh, that first battle, guys. I'm a little slap happy, I think, as well. So maybe it wasn't that funny, but yeah, in my mind, it was hilarious. So we pick up the Mothim lead here in the next battle. 14-18 Mothim. I honestly have no idea what this thing is. I don't even know what moves it has. What does this thing even evolve from? I'm not even 100% sure, but the opponent has huge cojones, as Jimmy Finn would say, and just no shields that, and they get farmed down by the Drifloon, and they bring in a Kanto Muck. And at this point, yeah, I think you just go straight Mystical Fire here, because a Shadow Ball is not going to one-shot. The opponent shields it anyway, and at this point, you could just let it go. Even if it's a Dark Pulse, the Drifloon will live it, and it's an Acid Spray. And this is looking really, really rough for the opponent right now. Now going to go for the Shadow Ball, realizing that a Mystical Fire wouldn't quite KO. And the opponent does double shield. And at this point, yeah, Shadow Gengar 2 shield. It really doesn't matter what's in the back. Unless it's like something with heavy like ghost pressure, maybe like a Shadow Claw user of their own. But it's actually a Sneasel. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And I cannot speak, but I think the opponent has just closed their app here. And is he going to go for the BM Focus Blast? Yes, he is. This is probably the biggest overkill I've ever seen in the game, as the double super effective Focus Blast from the Shadow Gengar KOs the Sneasel. And that is a good game. Oh my gosh, guys. This is a crazy video. And that looks like that was maybe the end of a 4-1. Was that a 4-1 or maybe a 5-0 there? And yeah, I haven't edited any of these battles, by the way. Like I said, NeronJohn sent these battles to me at like 3 a.m. and I go off my shift at like 7, so I think I started putting the footage together at like maybe 5:30 this morning, and I just threw it together real quick. So I apologize for any graphical errors or editing errors. I truly don't care at this point, but picks up a Beedrill lead here and then makes a very nice catch onto the Drifblim, which is probably going to be an X-Scissor or a Drill Run. Either way, both are going to be double resisted, and oh my gosh, the opponent has a Crawdon in the back. And the opponent elects to overfarm there. They don't throw the Night Slash right away. They let the Mystical Fire land, and they actually shield it as well. So I think at this point, yeah, you definitely have to save your shields for the Drapion. Drapion definitely has to take this thing out. They do eventually go for the Night Slash, and I think, will a Crabhammer still KO here? This is going to be very close, honestly. Crabhammer hits super hard, and fortunately the opponent does bait, but this is actually a little bit rough because Drapion is not running the Sludge Bomb there and actually calls it there. It is the Crabhammer. Oh my gosh, but he barely survives it. And honestly, if the opponent shields this, fortunately they do not. I was going to say Gengar's just going to get snarled all the way down, but fortunately they do let it go. And now Gengar's going to get the farm down. And what is going to be in the back here? That's actually the Beedrill coming back in. He farms it all the way down. Please, let's see a Focus Blast land. Oh my gosh, it's a Scrafty. And he's actually going to bait with the Shadow Ball. Please, please shield this opponent. I need you to shield this. And they do shield it. And now, guys, we're going to see the Focus Blast land. And this easily would one-shot from full health. Gets baited with the Acid Spray. It does not matter. And probably could even go for a Nice here. And I bet this would still KO. And that is some more massive overkill there. As the Ghost type KOs the Dark type. And that is a GG. So crazy, crazy battle there. These lower elo battles are always extremely entertaining for me, especially when I'm on no sleep, because you just absolutely have no idea what you're going to see on your screen. Honestly, if I had more time for editing, this would have been a really fun one to do the guess the elo format on, but we actually pick up a pretty bad core breaker. I'm just realizing now that Greninja beats basically this entire team, because the two Ghost types in the back, every single one of the charge moves is resisted except for Focus Blast, and there's just no way Gengar's getting to a Focus Blast against Greninja. And honestly, if the opponent shields this on the Greninja, this is going to be extremely rough for his backline, and actually make a catch onto the Venusaur. And actually, this is pretty good for him because he can now actually use this as an opportunity to fully farm down this Venusaur, and then we'll have a lot of energy for that Greninja. Yeah, but everything the Venusaur can throw here is going to be heavily resisted. And I don't think that the Greninja has a move, and actually over farms. I think it would have been really good there to throw the Mystical Fire right away, because then maybe could have lived the move after the debuff, but maybe recognizes that he needs to shield the Drifblim anyway, and just recognizes he's going to have to basically have a ton of energy to take this thing out. And again, the opponent makes a catch, but I think they caught it onto a Granbull here. This is going to do a lot of damage, and now I think Gengar can just farm down and should be able to make the move. I think it's going to be very close, and does get the Shadow Claw through, and there's just no way. Gengar definitely wins CMP against Greninja. I'm imagining it has to, and yeah, they didn't have a move anyway. And we're going to see another Shadow Ball land. And obviously, folks, if you're going to run Shadow Gengar, I'm not sure that you should, but if you do, you definitely don't want to run double nuke. You have to have that Shadow Ball or the Shadow Punch coverage, just because it just takes so much damage from fast moves that I imagine there's a ton of things that can just fully farm it down before it even gets to 2 charge moves. So if you're going to run this thing, definitely run Shadow Punch. But fortunately for us, Neuron John is an absolute mad lad. And honestly, if you're in rank 3 or 4, who even cares? Like, you can definitely run whatever you want at this point. But the opponent here has a Shadow Golurk, and they're staying into the Drifblim here. They're going to go for a Dynamic Punch. They go for a Dynamic Punch. That is triple resisted, folks. And now I have officially seen it all. And not only that, but they had a Dark type in the back that fully walls all this energy, and they're over farming probably to like a Fire Blast or something, I'm imagining, and they shield the Mystical Fire, and let's just imagine, it has to be a Fire Blast, guys. It's gonna be it's a Fire Blast. It is the Fire Blast. Oh man, guys, Nerds Rising needs to go to bed, but that just made my entire morning, honestly, seeing that Fire Blast one-shot the Drifblim. There's a bite and Zweilous in the back. It's 1393, guys, but how many bites was that? We're gonna go back and watch that. We're gonna watch that back. How many bites was that just KO'd the Gengar there? I'm gonna guess that it was 6 bites that KO the Gengar, guys. Let's watch this. Let's watch this back again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I might have been counting too fast. I think it was 9. Somebody let me know in the comments that's more awake than I am, but oh my gosh. He might actually lose this battle It'd actually be really funny if he lost this battle. I guess he does have 2 shields. Yeah, he's not going to lose the battle, but wow. What a game, guys. Thank you to Neron John again, 301, for sending this in. This is just a really entertaining set of shoutcasting for me, but these wireless, of course, is running Bite and Dragon Pulse, and the Golurk in the back, I think, is actually running Astonish. Yeah, I don't think it's actually running Mudslap. It's running Astonish, which makes a little bit more sense because the Astonish, even though it's an absolute trash fast move, it does generate energy a little bit quicker than Mudslap, which explains why that was a dynamic punch so quickly against the Drifblim. But yeah, what a battle, guys. Wow. Can it get any better than this from here? By the way, if you're not seeing, 15 out of 50 battles, so he's only won 15 battles so far on this account, so pretty crazy. But honestly, I'm not sure it can get any better from here. Like, I think we've already seen the peak of this video, so at this point, like, there's no reason for me to even just shoutcast anymore, but we're going to anyway, as we see these Scrafty into the Drapion, and this is not a very good matchup. I actually would probably like to see maybe a safe switch out of here at some point, but we'll have to see what the opponent decides to do here. They are overfarming massively, which doesn't really make a lot of sense because you just have to go for power-up punches, basically, but no, what do I know? They're going for foul plays, and I guess maybe foul play and farm down, but it's probably better just to go straight pup in this matchup if you're the Scrafty. And now he's going to switch into the Drifblim here after some chip damage, and you can let this go because the triple resisted counters are not going to farm down, and now they go for the power-up punch, of course, and they have it looked like a dark normal type in the back. I'm assuming probably going to be an Obstagoon, and it is an Obstagoon, and they shield the Mystical Fire as well, and this is honestly not a good matchup for Obstagoon. In fact, it might be a little bit better than the Scrafty, but yeah, still definitely not a good matchup because without the boost there, 2 Night Slashes are not going to KO, and honestly, after a couple Mystical Fires land here, it might even need 3 more Night Slashes to KO. We'll have to see how much this one does here, and it's just going to be 1 more, but anyway, this is still looking pretty awkward for him because he still has to get rid of that Scrafty, and actually switches into the Gengar here. I don't know about this. I guess he does have the Focus Blast, and 1 more Mystical Fire was not going to do it, so I guess he kind of had to because the Drapion was super low, and Drifblim is also super low, and even though these Night Slashes are double debuffed here, I'm imagining the Night Slash would probably still just about KO here. So going to massively overfarm at 100 energy now. Going to go for the Focus Blast and fully undercharged as well. There's no way this doesn't one-shot. It's still one-shots. The Scrafty comes back in, and he just barely makes it. No, he doesn't. Did he get the 1-turn lag there? Because that should have been a CMP that Gengar would have won. And yeah, I think he got the 1-turn lag there on the bring in. Oh my gosh, guys. We're about to see a Focus Blast land onto this Wigglytuff here. How much is this going to do? And it one-shots from full health. Holy crap. That was absolutely insane. And this should just be another power-up punch. And no, actually it is the foul play, but yeah. The Scrafty's so low, he can just farm it down. And oh my gosh, that was insane, guys. I did not think it was going to do that much damage. That is ridiculous damage there. That was a crazy win. And that was just a really weird team by the opponent there. They were running ABA Dark with double normal in the back, I guess. I'm not really sure about that team, but a poison type would just completely tear through that entire team. But anyway, folks, we are into maybe even the last battle of this video. We have Golbat on the lead, and Golbat appears to be going straight for Poison Fang here, which I guess is really what you have to do because everything's going to be heavily resisted here from the Golbat. So just going to go for the crunches here. I like this play. 2 crunches will be needed, or probably a crunch and an Aqua Tail. No, actually it looks like 2 crunches are going to be needed. This is a non-shadow Golbat, so it is a little bit tankier. And actually this crunch just barely might not KO. And I like that play. This should just be the Poison Fang and should be able to farm down here. Saves the Drapion. And no, that actually was the Shadow Ball. I was definitely not counting, and there's a Haunter in the back. And this is actually looking really, really awkward because if he can't get rid of this Haunter here, then the Shadow Claws are just going to completely obliterate the Gengar. So yeah, has to bait, but I think the opponent might be able to fully farm down here. It's going to be very close. They still have 2 shields, and he's going to let it go. Oh my gosh, guys. We're about to see Shadow Gengar versus Haunter with the Shadow Claws. Look at the Shadow Claws. Oh my gosh. Shadow Claws almost fully KO the Gengar, and there's an Ariados in the back, and since he's not running Shadow Punch, I think this is going to be a good game because the Ariados is going to get to 2 cross poisons. I think, yeah, they are, because he needs like 5 or 6 more Shadow Claws to the next Shadow Ball, and they're only going to need 4 more Poison Stinks to the cross poison there. They outpace him by 1 fast move, and that is going to be a GG. But wow, Haunter into Shadow Gengar, the matchup that we did not know that we needed. But Excuse me. But thank you to Neuron John 301 for sending these in, guys. Obviously, this is not a team I'd recommend. In fact, I actually would strongly not recommend this team to anyone whatsoever, but these were some truly, truly incredible battles. So, yeah, thank you so much again to Neuron John for sending them in. Really, really a ton of fun for me to shoutcast, even though I'm completely exhausted. But that's going to be all for today, folks. I'm going to be going to bed, and hopefully I will have my own legend run here for you guys here the next day or two. I did come up with a pretty strong team last night. I climbed like 150-ish elo, and I ended at 29.99 on my last set. So I'm literally 1 elo away from legend, but Niantic decided to not give it to me, folks. I was on a 4-4, and I was at 29.52, and I had won 4 battles. And I thought, really, the last battle I just thought was a formality at that point. I thought for sure I had it, and I ended up barely losing the last battle and only climbed up, I think I needed 48 elo, and I only climbed 47, so truly heartbreaking, but I'm going to hit it. It's just a matter of time at this point. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you are new to the channel and you're not subscribed, please consider doing so, because the more subscribers we can get, the more Pokemon my wife will let me play.